Good afternoon, Councilman. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're bringing this meeting to order on this August 2nd, 4 o'clock p.m. of the Utilities Commission, Fort Valley, Georgia public meeting. I do thank you for joining us. This meeting is in order. If you would, Ms. Thompson, would you give us a prayer, word of prayer, please?
Yes. Father, you instructed us to pray for and lift up our nation and those who are in authority. So in obedience to you, Lord, to your word, we pray and lift up our nation and our leaders. Father, we lift up the community, our leaders, the mayor, and city leaders, governor and state officials, our president, his cabinet, and all those who are instrumental in leading our community, a city, or state, and our nation. Father, your word says that if your people would humble themselves and pray, then you would deliver us and heal our nation. We ask and pray all these things in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. If you would stand and face the flag and let's recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. And right now, I want to take the opportunity to let everybody know we've had a very well-known person, Alvin Williams, Cheese Man, to pass this weekend in Fort Valley. That is my blood family, as we say. I'd like for you to say a word. Keep the family in your thoughts, his children, his grandchildren, right, and all of them. I'd like to also bring out, in paying attention to CDC with this COVID, this new variant or variants with an S. I think we need to be very careful, very careful. There are people who are fully vaccinated being diagnosed with COVID. And I know this personally. We need to do everything we can to mitigate this. Wear your mask. If you know you're going to have somebody at your house that's not living with you, wear your mask. If you're going to be in large crowds, let's wear our masks. We don't need to have any more deaths in the county. We are already at max capacity at the Peach County Hospital. You hadn't heard that, but we're already maxed out. We're rising in the state and by county. Peach County is listed. They have low, medium, whatever. We're in the red, the high zone for this county, which includes Fort Valley and Byron. Now, we're going to have to put some other places, other things in order here at the Utility Commission, pretty much like we did during the pandemic of COVID, because if it's going up and you're vaccinated, we got to put some more protocols in place to protect our people and the people that come in and out. But I thank y'all for bearing with me on that a bit about the COVID, about a loss of our community member and family member. And we're going to move on with our agenda. Approval of the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I offer a motion that we entertain the agenda as written.
Second.
Motion and second on the agenda as written. Next will be the approval of the minutes for work session meeting on June 14th. In this approval of these minutes, I trust you've had a chance to read them. We need to give the opportunity for leeway to make corrections to the minutes, for name corrections and things. And I entertain a motion to that effect if you need to,
I have a couple of things I'd like to bring up. I don't know if it's appropriate after the motion or in discussion. About on page 2 of the minutes of the last meeting.
okay, we'll do the motion, second, and then we'll do discussion.
Okay. I second the motion.
Second the motion, discussion. You motion, correct, Ms. Thompson?
Yes, that's fine.
Right.
I thought you did,
Yeah, I thought so. Motion on accepting the minutes as written with the giving of opportunity to correct for corrections. And we're gonna do discussion with, any discussion on the motion of the minutes.
On the second page, number 2, paragraph in the middle begins with Attorney Rhonda Patrick. She informed the board actions taken before the executive session were inappropriate and unprofessional. I don't remember those words. It's a moot point, I guess. But she advised the new appointed commissioners had not taken proper oath of office, and therefore they could not participate in the meeting. If that be the case, and it is, that everything preceding that in the minutes where a vote was 5-0 and 5-0 probably needs to be changed, because our 2 votes were not pertinent.
Right, okay, in paying attention to the minutes, and anybody has gone over the minutes, there are some things that may need to be changed as far as motions made and the point that Mr. Watson brought out about comments that was typed about Ms. Patrick and the board actions.
On page 1, where after Commissioner Thompson called for a motion to amend the amendment, the vote was 3-2. That needs to be amended also because I, for one, vote did not count. So,
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment too. On the 3rd or 4th paragraph in the minutes there, the motion was made by me to go into executive session. It says Chairman Horton seconded the motion. Chairman can't second the motion. Somebody else must have seconded it.
I understand. I did not.
You didn't second it.
I did not second. That's why I said we're gonna leave the right to make the corrections. So
Yeah,
that
I'm sure that's
notate the proper
a typographical error.
person making the motion. There are several, and rather than strike through each and every line, if the commissioners are in agreement, once we get done, we'll get with the person taking the minutes and get the corrections together.
Okay.
It's okay? All right, motion to accept the agenda with giving the permission to make corrections to the minutes. I need a vote. Motion been properly moved and second.
there are other changes other than what we spoke of. So you're saying
We'll make
all of them?
We'll make all the changes. The changes will be addressed,
Okay.
so they will reflect correctly on who, what, and when.
Okay,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the minutes be accepted, making the necessary correction that were brought out in the discussion about various items that were recorded incorrectly. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Motion?
Second.
Second, motion second. All those in favor, by show of hands. Got it? Ms. Brittany? All right. All those that are against this motion? All right. Moving on to the item 3, Department's activity overviews for July 2021, the financial overview. Ms. Kathy.
Motion and a second, but no vote.
On the what?
No vote on item B.
Didn't we vote on the
approval of
agenda?
agenda?
Well, yeah, she motion.
There was a motion and a second,
Second.
there wasn't a vote.
Yeah, wasn't no vote. We didn't think
We
she's
vote.
right. We didn't talk about it.
We did the motion, we did the second. All those in favor of approving the agenda as written? Thank you.
I just didn't want it to come up later, so.
No, I thank you. That's why we're a team, not an item.
Can I make one
Team.
correction too, because visitors that's sitting out may be wondering. I'm not abstaining and I'm not voting, but I am not voting because my vote is relegated to the breaking of a tie. That's what my vote does. I can make the motion or I can second the motion, but I cannot vote unless it's a tie. I think that's what the House bill calls for. So that's just for the sake of the visitors.
Right. That's per House Bill 743.
And there also, I don't see a section for visitor comments. Does that have to be on the agenda for a public meeting or not?
It doesn't have to be, but I will entertain any comments from our visitors, regardless.
You want me to sit down first? Or you want me to go ahead?
You can sit down. We'll ask our visitor if they want to make a comment. Councilman Allen, thanks for coming. Would you like to speak to the board commissioners?
No, so I'm here just learning.
You're learning. All right.
Not to take the bill, please now.
And I don't know if the commissioners know, this is Trey Amos. He's our senior foreman for the gas department.
I see him all over town. Thank you, Ms. Catherine. Thank you for keeping us up. It's strange being in here in the building and off Zoom.
I know. So I'm going to start with going over the revenue and expense report for June. Everybody had a copy of it at your seat. I'm going to concentrate on the last three columns, which is the total to date, budget to date, and the variances. For charges for services, we budgeted 17 million, and we're at just a little over 17 million. We're 196,000 above budget. For other operating revenues, we're 54,000 above budget, which brings our total revenues 250,000 above what was budgeted. Our cost of goods sold for purchases for resale, that is the cost of the gas and the cost of the electric. We are below budget 106,000. Other costs, which is your plants, it's your water plant and your wastewater plants, we are below 263,000. And I'll talk a little bit about what makes up that difference in a minute. And then on down to personnel services, we are 422,000 below budget. Purchase service, 487,000 below budget. So personnel services, the largest department that we're under is electric. We're 137,000 under for electric and personnel services. And the majority of that is salary and group insurance. And it, goes hand in hand. If you've got an employee position open, you've got group insurance open. So for electric, it's 137,000, telecom 31,000, water 93,000, wastewater 49,000, and gas 110,000. And all that correlates to open positions. And also with the group insurance, if we budgeted for one person to have family coverage, they left and somebody replaced them and has single coverage, that's about a $20,000 a year savings. So you'll see those in the numbers too. So on to the bottom, because the others, general and admin was also large. We're 376,000 below budget. The general admin is allocation from the meter department, the warehouse, customer service, GM's office, and we're under budget in that for salaries also. We're short a meter reader, we're short a customer service rep at this time. And we're also short a GM, so that makes up for some of that difference. The franchise fee, where it looks like we're under budget 105,000, that's trued up at year end. So we pay the same amount every month that equals 1.2 million a year, and at the end of the year when our CAFR's completed, we true up and pay that. In my next report, I submitted the CAFR on Saturday, so the city should be receiving a check within the next couple of weeks to settle up for fiscal year 20. Coming down to the bottom, operating income. So we budgeted to be at $1 million loss, and you'll see we're to the good $1 million. And the majority of that is personnel and purchase services. What makes up purchase services is repair and maintenance, training and travel, and engineering. And I do know we have some projects in engineering coming up that are gonna eat up some of that, but also with repair and maintenance. Just because we're under budget now doesn't mean next week or after the storm last night, once we pay for those supplies that we used, you'll see that start coming down because we're gonna use that money. Any questions on the financial report?
Any question, commissioners?
I got a question in general, not about this report. I guess this is a question for Zach. Is it possible to get this on the screen? Those of us who may have a touch of hard hearing, it would be easy, or if Kathy had this big chart and had the ability to electronically point to what she's talking about.
We'll make that work.
It would be helpful to me if you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be glad to do it. And I'll also see there may be a different format I can use to get it, to blow that one section up. As I'm
As far as I'm
talking.
concerned, the last 3 columns are all we need.
No,
really.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Be a lot less busy.
I just have one question about the bad debt expense.
Mhm.
Okay, we went electric, telecom, and water. Okay, we have a total of 86,822,
And
and
that,
we were,
that number's not, that number gets trued up at the end of the fiscal year. So the way the accounting works is we allocate an amount each month to bad debt. And then when the fiscal year's over, we take what we receive for bad debt and then what we write off for the year. And then these numbers are adjusted with the capper. So it looks like we've sent 86,000 in bad debt, but it's really just a placeholder until the end of the fiscal year. Like I say, this year's is gonna be way over budget. So I'll move into my monthly report for my departments. As I stated earlier, I completed the comprehensive annual financial report for fiscal year 20, and it was submitted to GFOA. And for, I think, Joe, I don't know if you know what GFOA is. It's Government Finance Officer Association. It's a nationwide program, and you submit it for an award. Since I've been here, I'm pretty sure Pat had it the 10 years he was here, and since I've been here, I've received it every year also, but it's for financial reporting, an award for, and they call it an extinguished award for financial reporting. It's a lengthy document, and it's on our website, and as soon as I can get the new one saved, it'll be on our website too. So a lot of financial information in there, and I'll probably use it during our next retreat to hit some highlights.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, absolutely. I submitted requisition number 6 to Synovus Bank for the water tank project. That requisition amount was $604,000. So the total drawn to date on our Synovus bond is $1.8 million. The total bond amount is $2.4 million. So that project is still active. Accounts receivable totals as of 7/31. So the total AR is $2.6 million. The total past due is $1.1 million. If you calculate the plus 1 month, which is 30 days, down to the +4, that comes to $1.1 million. And if you reference that back to our revenue and expense report, where it looks like our operating income is $1 million, that's not actually money received, that's just money billed. So in looking at that, we really haven't collected that money because we've got over $1 million past due. The meter department, completed 516 service orders. We had 875 tanless system reads, which is our AMI meter, the new metering system. Customer service posted 5,173 payments compared to 5,438 last year at this time. 51 new customers registered online. We received our first reimbursement from the Department of Community Affairs for the Rental Utility Assistance Program. It paid for several months of utilities for this particular customer. So it's a good program. We're making sure when we get calls from our customers, we're letting them know about that. And we reached out to the DCA to get an official flyer, a copy of the official flyer, so we can hand those out to our customers as well. Drive-through payments, we took 2,004 customers through the drive-through, which is a little more than last year. We had 1,882 for the month of July last year. And the other thing I'll highlight is that we had 45 arrangements. Any questions on the monthly reports?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment I'd like to make, and I assume this would probably be within your department. Someone named Pam, is that one of your customer service people?
She's our billing technician.
Okay, and I want to thank and say kudos to her for when we were at Meeting Aug, somebody had put the notice on my door about extra use of water and gas, it seems like. And I don't go in and out of my front door. I go in and out of my back door. So if I had been home, I probably wouldn't have ever seen it. But anyway, she did call Martha, I think. And Martha shared with me that seemed to have been some kind of leak, maybe a hot water leak or something of that nature, because it was using more than it should have been using. And I want to thank your customer service for people for being on top of it. I did get a plumber. We got it fixed. We got it taken care of. And so that is good. I still think I have a toilet that won't act up. But anyway, it's not as bad as what the gas and the water was. And so I thank them for staying on top of the extra cost that way.
Appreciate that.
Let Pam know I said that.
I will. So there's no questions on the report. I had one more thing I needed to discuss while I was up here, and that's a grant potential. So the federal coronavirus relief funds have been allocated to Georgia through the American Rescue Plan. So there's, Kemp just announced, I think a week ago, that there's a separate set of funds that can go towards sewer infrastructure, economic development impact, and broadband. And so the way it's split up is $875 million will go towards sewer infrastructure, $326 million will go to economic development / economic impact, and $1.2 billion would go to broadband. Where normally we're not allowed to, because of the type of organization we are, we're not allowed to go apply for grants. We are allowed to apply for this grant. The Development Authority reached out to us, and they were trying to get us to work with Peach County commissioners so that we could all submit one application, like whatever the city of Byron needed, whatever Fort Valley needed, whatever utility commission, do it as one application. And we're still waiting to find out if that's going to be a better approach or if it would be better to do it individually. You know, because the city of Byron's project may not be as large as ours, so they don't want to be turned down because ours was so large it made the application not eligible. In saying that, we need to know what the commission would like us to apply a grant for. Now, this may be a good opportunity to update our wastewater system, but that is going to be a, say, $20 million, at least a $20 million project. But that's one of the largest things that keeps us from economic development, because when we get questions asked and they want to know, how much can you take? And we get so upset because Clay keeps saying 500,000 million gallons a day. And we're like, we need more than that. And Clay's like, 500,000 million gallons a day. And I know Carter and Sloop has presented with the commission in the last 3 or 4 years about what we can do to increase our sewage capacity. The Development Authority is willing to pay for an engineer to get that pricing for us. And when we get that pricing, we can apply for the grant for that amount. Or if it's not something the commission would like to move forward with, there's other things in water and wastewater. We need to upgrade our SCADA system, which is how much?
It's over $100,000.
You know, so we could use something like that.
What type of system did you say, Kathy?
SCADA.
SCADA.
So SCADA, that's part of like the telecom system. And I could explain it, but I don't know, he'll do so much better.
I'll be up there in a minute.
Okay,
But
good
the
enough.
SCADA system gives us full reading of what's going on everywhere. It's the communication for everything to the main computer for operating and controlling the water, the wastewater, and the lift stations.
And all the
Got it.
plants are tied together.
Okay,
Security control and data acquisition.
Look at me.
okay.
Did you Google that? I have written it so many times, but I can never remember what it stands.
When is this request due?
By August 31st.
August 30th?
August 31st, yes. It opened up on August 1st, and we've got till August 31st.
Wow, that's not very long.
Yes, it's not, but I wanted to, and I don't think it needs a vote tonight. We would just need your permission to at least pursue the grant, and then we can come back if we need to have a called meeting in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks.
Did you say there was a max for us or for
No.
Pitts County?
No, there's not a max. But what they will look at is, they grade you're by a point, and depending on how much you're willing to put up, cash-wise, your grade is higher.
Put the skin in the game.
Put skin in the game.
Well,
Yes.
another thing that holds us back, I'm going to speak to Zach, because I'm not Zach. Well, we don't have that person anymore. Is a remapping of all of our fiber network, because it's so
Yeah.
harem-scarum now, nobody
Yeah.
knows how many strands we have and where.
Yes.
It needs, is that the word, remapping? Is that-
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're in desperate
And-
need of that.
And that's a decision I think the commission will also need to make with that telecom department is, do we want to sustain it and fix what we got? Or do you want to put millions into it and grow it? But
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment? We have been talking about that since the designation of the broadband-ready community that came from the Department of Community Affairs was issued to Peach County, to Byron, and to the city of Fort Valley. And of course, back when we had the interim general manager over here, we brought some people over here that were interested in doing some private ventures with that. And of course, those are not the ones we are looking at though. But we do have some people that we are looking at, a group that's looking at bringing fiber into Fort Valley. And we asked about the Utility Commission, if you are not or going to do fiber or not going to do fiber. It's been said that y'all only doing that with your SCADA system, us doing that with our SCADA system. And so in a meeting with, and I invited Martha over because she's y'all's community and economic development person. We had a meeting with one of the partners of that company, and they are very interested in looking into making Fort Valley, the city of Fort Valley, a smart city. And we are moving trying to move in that direction. Now, before I came to this meeting, we had a meeting and we appointed an interim or temporary economic development person for the city. We've been talking about that ever since Mayor Stumbo was the mayor and what have you. And of course, the Utility Commission went ahead and did their part, but we had not done ours. We voted maybe 3 months ago to do that for this year. And so we've got a temporary and an interim person now that's doing the economic development piece for us, and in the name of Gary Lee. And this company that's coming in to deal with what we are trying to deal with did a proposal for, I think they did a proposal for Warner Robins, and Warner Robins blocked it. I want to make sure I'm right. One person blocked it, I'm going to put it that way. And so they didn't get it. They got about 23 miles of fiber already out there in the ground coming into Fort Valley. I came and got the map, the current map of our fiber location, where we were at this particular point and that kind of thing. And so I'm thinking that in the next little while, we're going to have some more economic development coming in, because what happens, the economic development goes out into the county, goes to Byron, and it goes to Warner Robins. And the fact that the Utility Commission is City of Fort Valley Utility Commission, it means that we're not getting the piece of the pie we ought to get either. And so hopefully we will be able to get the piece of the pie that we should get coming into Fort Valley. We are doing some negotiating at this particular point. Didn't have an economic development person. It's been loaded on me. And my council told me to get it off of me and put it on the economic development person. I said, thank you. And so this particular person, as a matter of fact, we have a trip to Atlanta on Wednesday pertaining to this thing. But we're trying to make sure that Martha is in the loop of everything that we do, because she's your community economic development person. And like McDonald's put on their cup and say, we can do this thing together. So that's what we're doing. I just wanted to give that update.
And I know Peach County is going after broadband.
All right, I have a comment. I understand we have to get our stuff together, but we have to also, in what we're doing with our money, all these things, our neighboring counties that we support, Crawford, Byron, Marshallville. Marshallville is about to change also. They got some things going on down there that's in the works. So whatever we do, if we need to up our system, we need to make sure we up it. So if we service Marshallville, we need to make sure we can service them in their growth as well. Crawford County as well. We need to make sure we service all of our folks in our growth, not just here in Florida.
Telecom, or is that wastewater? Speaking of in telecom?
I think they got
in all services.
They got a little disclosure thing going on, but it's stuff growing. It'll have to come officially.
Okay.
But in our thoughts and what we're trying to do, keep those in mind of our neighboring counties, cities that we service. And when we increase, we make sure we include those.
I agree. So, and I guess tonight my question would be, is the commission wanting to go after 20 million? Or are we wanting to keep it to smaller projects that we maybe have a better chance and won't have to put up as much money? Because one thing to think about with building a new wastewater treatment facility, and if BJ was here, he would not be happy that I'm saying this, but if we spend 20 million on a new treatment facility, the expense of that building goes to our current customers, because we will have no customers that need that facility, and you don't know how many years until somebody does. So that entire cost is going to be spread against your current customers each year.
Well, on the wastewater system, I'm sure Clay will probably address this later. I don't care how efficient we make our system and how much we expand it. That's not the bottleneck. The bottleneck is that permit we have that allows us to dump 2,200,000 gallons a day to Bay Creek, which makes us the headwaters for Bay Creek. So if we're talking about $20 million for a new wastewater plant or whatever it is, that means taking this discharge from Fort Valley to somewhere else, to the Flint or to Okmulgee. That's where all that 20 million, I mean, not all, but that's where it's going to be horribly expensive to do that. We can make the most efficient system in the world, it doesn't matter if we can't discharge.
To Bay Creek. Clay is going to talk to you about another project he's wanting to do, and that will help with the infiltration that we get from stormwater and rainwater that's eating up a lot of our permit now. So do you have an estimate how many gallons per day, that'll?
Well, it depends on whether or not it's during a rain event, but it's easily upwards of 300,000 gallons.
So that's going to increase our capacity when an ED project comes on. And another thing to think about is when an ED project comes on of that magnitude that comes from the state, there's no city in Fort Valley that can take on that extra wastewater load. And the state knows that. And so they would assist you in getting that infrastructure.
Isn't the State Economic Development Group, if you get a prospect coming to Fort Valley from out of the state may possibly fund an enormous part of that cost for wastewater. If it's someone transferring here from in-state, the state won't spend a dime on it.
Right. And I'm not trying to persuade the commission way one way or the other. I just, you know, these things I look at from the financial.
From your original question, I would say go forward and get as much as you possibly can. Whether it's little bitty projects, I mean, it's almost be disgraceful if that money was available and we didn't apply for it.
He didn't apply for it, right.
Yeah,
The
I
most they
agree.
can do is say no, so I think we should go large.
So go with the wastewater treatment plant?
Yeah,
So how
try
much
it.
money would we have
We
to
don't
put
know.
up?
We don't, that's up to you guys. There's no, you don't have to put up anything. It's just when they look at your application, you're graded and you get higher points for the more you put up.
Okay.
Question. How far are we offline for the water tank or the water tower that's being built out in the Gano area?
End of year?
And still,
Yeah,
everything should be
end of
ready at the end of the year.
What's that now?
The end of the year.
End of the year?
End of the
The
year.
end of the year, okay. And so the expansion, that's what we were working on, is the expansion needs for out that way, right? Okay, so now,
This is for the college.
I can't hear you,
This is for the college.
just for the college.
This is for a higher pressure for the college so that they have ability for fire suppression and to get water to the 4th floor of their dormitories.
But is that just for the college?
Well, it does create water.
Yes.
It benefits the whole system.
It's for
It does
Southwest
benefit
Beach.
the whole system.
Yeah, it's like,
It actually, it updates and replaces an outdated plan.
yeah, so instead of saying this is for the college, it's for that area out that way. Southwest Beach will benefit from that too, I think. And I think we hung it on the college head because we knew that the funding could come with the university and that kind of stuff, and Dr. Jones did too, along that line.
USDA got involved in this and put money in it because of the university, though. not
Yeah, because of the university, but when they put money in stuff because of things, this is what I want us to understand. We benefit from it too. When they put money, if the state comes in, state economic development come in and put something out for the county, and Fort Valley benefits from it too, we don't need to be selfish. We need to know that all of us are benefiting from this. We're in the same kind of communities and thinking that way. So we need to talk that piece just that way. He said, by Fort Valley, for Fort Valley, when he was running. He said that. By Fort Valley, for Fort Valley. So when he's running for office, let's keep that kind of talking in mind. Fort Valley, Peach County, and so forth. Now Byron uses somebody else. So we don't really need to be preaching Byron. Oh, anybody in here from Byron? I'm sorry, I don't be talking down Byron. But it's our job to promote Fort Valley and Peach County. And so I say again, we had said, if y'all can recall, some years ago when the Utility Commission, Ned, I don't know whether you were the GM at that time, it might have been Ken Warner or one of those out there, and we ran all of that gas line out, 247 connector or the whatever we were doing, preparing for expansion and the future then. And the folk, I'm surprised you still got hair on your head if you were a part of that.
I don't wear a toupee.
And so they fussed at them so much, and now it's time for it to be paying off.
We suffered enormous criticism, if
I'm
you
sure.
remember, about Highway 96.
I'm sure.
But without that,
I'm sure.
Pure Flavor would not have come.
I'm sure.
There's going to be more to.
Now I get that. I get that with the city too, trying to do stuff at the city. I mean, you know, I can't sleep sometime at night when I bring stuff to folk. But what we're talking about with this fiber and the broadband, the infrastructure for broadband is one of the hot topics right now, as well as the infrastructure for sewer. stormwater, sewer, and everything. Those are hot topics. And so for us not to take advantage of every opportunity that we could so that we could get a piece of the pie, to me, it does not make any sense.
Our focus should be on broadband, repairing, remapping, whatever the word is, and sewer. The water is not as critical at this
Right.
point. I mean, we have enough capacity.
But remember,
ability to increase it.
a few, it may have been a year or so ago, when I was trying to get us to run some fiber out there to Dr. Jones's house, and I gave a justification for doing it, and we said that we weren't gonna worry about doing that. We couldn't do that. We only to do it for our, well, my justification is this. You got workers that come here to this town, workforce, and we're not workforce ready for that. When they come in from the college and they stay in Monroe County, or they stay in Bibb County, or in Houston County, or Centerville, somewhere else other than here, we're not workforce ready. And so the fiber part of it is what we got to do with housing, affordable housing, in order to be able to do what needs to be done. And of course, a utility commission can't do that by themselves, and a city can't do that by themselves. We got to work this thing together. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm shut up now.
No, you won't.
Sorry.
So when you ask about how much do we, I mean, that's really up to the commission. From a financial standpoint, you know, we should have 11 million reserves in the bank, and we don't. We're shy, over 3 million shy of that. You know, can I say that we can put up $1 million because we can recoup it in a year or so? I don't know. If we have a natural disaster, it would hurt us. Plus, we got $1 million bad debt, so we've got to recoup that somehow. What we can do, if the commission wants us to pursue the wastewater expansion, we can get that quote, let us work on it for a couple of weeks, and come back with you guys with some numbers before the application needs to be submitted. Like you said, there's no harm, no foul. You apply, you get turned down, or you get it. But we can definitely bring back if that's the direction you'd like us to go.
There's no negotiation with the people handling the money. If we submitted a request for 20 million and they said that's completely unreasonable, but we'll give you X amount, will they do that, or do you?
They haven't said. We get 250 words to sell our project.
251
Words.
To sell your project.
Sell the project.
For the grant.
Right.
How are we gonna go about doing that? Are you all we're gonna get together and
Absolutely.
write those
Absolutely. We've already
250 words?
And it would help with the development authority, because
Yes.
they've gone this route, so they know what it takes. And we're still waiting also on if we can submit like PowerPoints or something with our applications.
Okay.
Kemp just assigned the committees, so they're overwhelmed too. They don't actually know what all we can do yet, but the development authority is working to try to get us that information. But yeah, but definitely it'll be a collaborative effort to
Yes.
get the best
Yes.
250 words
Yes.
we can get.
We need those words.
So any objection to going forward with trying to get the water treatment?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we go
I
ahead
don't
and,
think it needs a vote. It
You don't
may
need a
need a
vote?
vote if we have a called meeting before
Okay.
the application submitted. I just needed everybody's thoughts on which way they want to go.
I think we need to get all
I
we
think
can
we need to
get.
do it.
Got a motion on the floor, and I second it.
I don't think it needs a vote.
You don't think you have to vote?
Not until
I
we
don't get to
submit-
vote anyway, but I do second the motion.
We'll come back with some actual numbers to
We'll
you
get down
guys,
to the
and then
brass
you can
tacks.
vote on that, because I'd hate for you to vote on something, and then I come back and go, well, we're only gonna put up
Really?
So not the
200,000.
actual amount, but we also need to kind of spearhead something so we all can meet together, so we can, you
Work
know,
on it, okay.
and work on it.
Yeah,
I
as
think
soon as
that-
I get numbers back from the engineer,
Yeah,
we'll put something together, and, I mean, I think it's worth a called meeting,
yes.
to sit down, approve that, and to go
Yes.
over. So we'll make sure we give ourselves at least a week to meet from when the deadline is, so we can at least have a week to work on that application. We reached out to our grant writers, and they said it's not really worth hiring them at this stage, because this is the, phase one is just 250 words, so there's not really much
Of course.
they would do for us. But if we got approved and had to go through another lengthy process, then we'd be willing to use the grant writer. So.
Ms. Kathy, you said something that I hadn't heard in a long time, and I thank you.
Oh,
Together.
well,
Thank you.
I've always tried to work that way.
Thank you for that.
All right. Any questions on that? I think that's it for me. So any questions on anything I've presented?
No, just find all the money we can get for that, because
Yeah.
we all need it. That's how we're gonna get our economic development up, our growth, even with the,
And at the same time, I'll be working at with the budget. So in September, we'll have at least 2 meetings to approve that. So it'll be a busy couple months. And I will say that if you get any text, South Jones is out again. Said it'd be about 2 hours. I got
South-
that about 30 minutes.
South Jones, or?
Oh, come on, they didn't get that specific. Just South Jones.
That is
I Googled it this morning. I know where it's at. There's over there.
down by Gladys? That's South
Yeah,
Jones.
over there by Gladys, yes. Yes, that was out last night too. Yeah,
We
but
said
they should
South
be
South
up in a
Jones.
couple hours.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And operations overview, Mr. Clay Walker.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening.
As far as electric goes, we started installing 32 of the lights at Marvin Gardens with 22 poles. We've installed 1,500 feet of the three-phase UG primary with 2 junction cabinets, the high school express circuit. It has been energized, but it is not going to be tested under load until the 31st. We responded to 55 hyperweb work requests and did 57 locates. And then with the gas department, total tickets responded were 50. Total calls out were 26. And the Crawford County High School, they put in 30 feet of line because it was going underneath the concrete slab, and they had to do it right away before the rest of it was all done. But then they're working on the rest of the gas line. And the public awareness letters were mailed out, which lets people know of anybody that's in the vicinity of a lot of the equipment.
Go back to the Crawford County, would you say that again about the gas line?
They installed 30 feet of gas line where some concrete was being poured to get it outside of the concrete area.
Oh, I thought you said to get it under the concrete.
To get it
Before they
away from
poured it
there
over.
so that we wouldn't have to work where they just put concrete down.
Okay, thanks.
And, this is, the awareness letters are for the unique attribute customers, which are customers near pumping stations and stuff, to notify us if they see a problem. Then as far as water department, we installed 5 new water services, processed 85 locates. The guys rebuilt the cow flow pump by scratch. They did a really good job. We pumped 52.755 million gallons of water. And then with wastewater, we pressure cleaned over 5,000 feet of pipe, processed 47 locates, and processed 33.17 million gallons of wastewater.
How much would it have cost a mechanical firm to rebuild a cow flow pump, do you think?
You're normally looking at about $1,800.
Okay.
The parts on it were about $300. That was putting in 2 new catheter tubes, both of the ball stop top and bottom, refilling it with oil, repriming it. There's some adjustment there, but the best part about it is that all the guys were out there working together and learned how it worked. For us to call somebody out to look at it, it costs $500. That's not fixing it. That's to get somebody to look at it. So anything we can do in-house is always a good way to go. Now, the first agenda item is the sewer rehabilitation, which is part of the GFA High School, the money left over from the high school that we applied extra money for repair of the 5 worst sewer problems we have in the city. Some of these places, we have 10-inch concrete pipe that is completely crumbling, and there are sections where they have a 6 to 8-inch gap across the bottom where the pipes don't even have a bottom to them. So any sort of rainfall or anything, we're getting massive amounts of water in. And these projects right here, you'll see, there are actually 7 of them listed the way in which they're listed. They come to $1.263 million. However, the money left over is $1.185 million, and we do not intend to go over that. But in order to put it out for bid, we have to see where it's most logical to cut to get it down to the price.
Can I ask a question? That you were talking about, is that comes from extra rain, a lot of rain? When you say the high school now, that's over there to the field house that you were talking about, past the stadium, wherein it kind of floods into the field house?
No.
No.
No, we applied for more money than we needed on the high school to also take care of.
For the
some
new
sewer
high
project.
school?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought
And
you
this,
don't know.
this money was earmarked specifically for these sewer projects.
Okay.
And these sewer projects are in town, and we've located where the worst inflows are and where most of our crushed
Okay.
pipes are. Now,
These 7 projects you have here, they total 1.26 million. Do you anticipate, if you had enough money, to get them all done this year?
if we could get them all done, we'd get them all done.
You're $78,000 short of what these estimates are versus the 1.18 million, 1.185 million.
That is correct, but they also haven't gone out to bid. And some of them we're bidding both as pipe bursting and as open cut replacement. There are some places where we're doing lining also and have opted for the UV because underneath the state highway, it's so expensive to close lanes down. It's more economical to do a liner and a UV where you can harden it immediately and you don't stop traffic and you don't have to hurt the road.
Some of these are so dramatic, you gotta fix them. I say you fix them as you should, and the $78,000 short, maybe we could move that from somewhere else, or that may be available by the end of the budget year.
Be more than happy to look at it. But the first thing to do is to get it approved so we can go ahead and get it out to bid.
Clay, are they listed as in priority order, or were they listing like that? Or are they all priority? I mean,
Really, they're all priority. We have other spots too, that we're just trying to hit the worst. I mean, we got a 130-year-old system, so these all need to be done.
You're looking for a motion to go out for bids?
Yes, to proceed. Some of these were approved before, but they were approved as 4 separate projects, and they didn't encompass everything, and they changed just enough that we had to repackage it as one project to put it back out for bid.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second
We
it.
move forward with this.
All right, motion is properly moved and second to move forward with this GFA fund sewer system improvements.
Okay, the next agenda item,
Let's
sorry.
vote on it. All right. All those in favor for this GFA fund sewer system improvement, by show of hands, raise your hand. All those that are against, have all 4, thank you.
I want to make one comment that'll make it even sweeter.
I was gonna say that, but I was gonna wait. There's 40% loan forgiveness.
40%.
Is that what you
I was trying to help your point.
that was the last. That's that last part. This in here.
You see, I'm hard to hear and say 100% loan forgiveness.
40%, there was 40% loan
Yeah, the
forgiveness on
calculator,
this
so I
project.
can hear it going ching-ching.
Who's forgiving
On
that?
the GFA loan.
Wow.
Just one question, Clay. We do have prospects to complete these. I mean, to complete the 7 projects.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 streets, right?
There are 7 areas.
7
yes.
areas. My question is, do we have someone to do the work?
We're looking at putting it out to bid right away. This is what I'm getting approval for.
Okay.
So we would get the work done as soon as we got it out to bid.
Okay. So
Are you asking internally, Ms. Rose? Are you asking about internal?
I'm asking internally because you said before that we had someone internally.
We have internally, we can put in water lines. We do not have the equipment or the ability to put in large sewer projects. It's a whole different type of crew, and entities normally do, unless they're huge, and I mean, very, very big, and even then, they normally bid them out.
With the contractors that you're using with the water tower, which is, I think, LaFay or something like that, would they qualify to do that kind of work, and they put in bids?
LaCay does put in bids.
LaCay, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
They put in bids and they're local.
They're the ones that put in the bid for the truck stop project, and they hadn't dug anything yet. We've gotten, how many, 2 or 3 invoices, but I hadn't seen any digging going on yet, and I go out there about once a week. And, well, I'll just leave that alone. I'll leave that up to you. I don't know if you've been out there and seen the slow process that they're going through, and they were supposed to have started August the 15th and been through by, April the 15th and been through by September the 15th. They hadn't started yet, and September is right up on us.
I understand. It's a lot supposed to happen out there, but it's not happening on 49. I ride out that way 5-6 times a day. And, a lot of projects supposed to be going on.
Well, I know.
But let's get this one down the road. One down the road. We're gonna take care of our city. It's our city.
The second agenda item is just to try to secure a letter to see if I can promise. There's a prospective buyer for a piece of property that wants to put 17 houses in. We have water on Johnny Sullivan Drive. We've got water north of this property and south of this property. But what I'm proposing to do, if they buy the property, if they develop the property, is to put in 1,500 feet of 8-inch pipe and fire hydrants to feed this subdivision and those 17 houses. It's closing the loop, and it would cost us right about $40,000.
Where is this property on the map?
The white line is where it would be filling in between the 2 blue lines. That would be the section that would be filled in. Eventually, there are 2 sections on Johnny Sullivan that need to be filled, but both of those 8-inch lines that come from each direction are fed from the 12-inch lines. So that would create a nice loop where we don't have dead areas. And then when we have an outage or there's a line break, we can isolate and just have to work on the one area.
Is this white outline the area you're talking
Yes.
about?
So where's the property for the proposed 17 houses?
It is on the west side of the road, and it's very close to the end of that loop.
We have water here, and here, and he wants to put this in there and make it.
And he's looking at right off of here.
So that's where.
But I'm
Curves around,
talking
okay.
about trying to get the loop in so that we.
You do what you want, then you have.
Yeah, complete loop. I understand it, but I was trying to identify the property that said they want to put 17 houses.
Yeah.
I have
And
had,
we've had multiple people that come over my short period of time who want to do 10, 15, 20 houses, and nothing is moved. So, the proposal is good. My question is he good on his proposal?
I am not suggesting that we put the line in at this time. I am merely suggesting that we give him a letter saying that if he puts the subdivision in, we can put the line in. I can get the line in a couple of weeks. We are in no hurry. He can get his roads in, he can start building his houses.
Can we request that it be annexed in the city?
That's a city. That's a city.
That is a city.
That's-
You sure?
I don't know. I think that's on the opposite side, though.
I think it is.
I have no idea about city annexation.
But wouldn't he be
I
on
think
the
it is.
east side of that road?
He is on the west side of Johnny Sullivan.
He's on the west side of Johnny Sullivan.
Yes.
So there would be a possibility.
You see it? Yeah. And the reason I asked that is because we said a long time back, when we do these things, we were gonna annex in the city. And the
If
first
this was
thing
contiguous-
happened, pure flavor, nobody mentioned anything about
This
being
would have to
annexed
be
in the city.
contiguous with existing
Yeah.
city limits, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so let's preach annexation.
I would think if that person starts on building 17 lots, building a subdivision, then I think we should be obligated to try to commit. Would you?
Well, I think that's
Yeah,
what
That- that's, all I was saying was provide a letter that says,
Yeah.
if
I
he
just-
buys the
I just want to
property,
be
if he
perfectly
develops it,
clear.
if, then we
Yeah.
would.
We're not putting that in unless he's got.
That's what I want, because
That's
I know of 3 or 4 who offered something similar and nothing happened. So this has to happen before we commit first dirt, I believe.
Absolutely, and in the last 2 years, this is the 3rd developer that's talked to me about property on
Yeah.
Johnny Sullivan about putting in houses.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the whole team is playing on the same court. We got one ball and we're going to make 3 points every time we shoot.
Yep, and that was all I have.
Yeah, appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure we all were on the same page about if they do the subdivision, we want to make sure we get a return, not just laying something out there for the next 40 years.
Are you gonna draw up that letter? Or
Well, first of all, I'm gonna wait till the developer
You're gonna
comes
wait
back
until
to
they
me
come?
and
Okay.
comes with a viable plan.
Okay,
But yes, yeah, then I would draw a line.
okay.
But,
Thank you, Clay.
any other questions?
Any other questions for Mr. Clay Walker?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They didn't like to vote. Because nothing's really happening, just had to get started.
All right, we just did our subdivision, sewer and rehabilitation. Next is our executive session.
I offer a motion that we now, go into executive session.
Before we do that, I want to make mention that the Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Allen, that you welcomed here, and he made that plain and clear, say he's not coming in the place of the mayor or something like that. But there may be a time that I cannot make it to the meeting, and the Mayor Pro Tem can make the meeting in my place. And so part of the reason for him coming is so he'll know what we're doing, to be ahead. And I thank him for doing that. That's why he's here. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Ms. Thompson, before, something just came to me and I wrote it down. I did not put it on the agenda and I don't know if it's appropriate. It's nothing dramatic or if you want to wait, but it pertains to a salary survey. We can talk about it now, we can talk about it next meeting.
Salary survey?
I'm not,
That's something we should be in executive session, we're dealing with salaries of our employees?
well, I'm not
Yeah.
just having a survey done.
Wouldn't you wait until you
I don't think I
hire another GM though, before you do that?
well, it's got nothing to do.
Yeah,
Isn't
nothing
that
to
a
do with
little
that
bit
one.
premature?
Well, yeah, survey you would, yeah.
I mean, we're not going, we're just a survey.
The salary
Right.
survey's got nothing to do with the
Exactly,
department.
so, yeah.
But, I think if we go into executive session, then we can
Okay.
figure it all out. All right, got a motion for executive session, did I get a second?
I make a motion, we go into executive session.
All right, motion, second, for executive session, we'll retire to the room.
I make a motion, we go back into public, in the public meeting.
Second motion.
Second motion second, we go back into public meeting. We're back in the public meeting, I thank you so much for joining us. Thank the A-team for sticking with us. See what we go through, don't you? Thank you for joining us and staying with us. In that we had a discussion of personnel. We are moving forward with the general manager interviews, and we will, those dates and times will be to be determined as we get in touch with our interviewees, and line those schedules up. Any other
Yeah, I would like to make a
Business.
motion, yeah. And prior to that discussion, I think the Utility Commission is an organization that needs legal representation. I think that the utility commission needs an attorney who represents only the Fort Valley Utility Commission and not dividing the attorney's time between us and the city. To that end, I would like to move that we relieve Ms. Patrick of the position of Fort Valley Utility Commission attorney and do a search for another attorney if we can't come to an agreement on one in the short term.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion moved, second to removal of our current legal counsel, Ms. LaRonda Patrick.
We're saying we're gonna remove her? Is that what you're saying? Question, Chairman? What was that?
Discussion?
To
Question.
relieve her of her duties.
Relieve her of her-
Fort
of her
Valley Utility
duties.
Commission.
That was not what we discussed.
We discussed several things. Yes and no on that.
Any more discussion? Properly motion, second. Any discussion, Mayor?
Excuse me?
Any discussion on the matter?
No.
Any more discussion, Ms.
I just disagree. How can I not vote?
Okay. All those in favor, call for the vote. All those in favor by show of hands. All those that are against. You have it, Ms. Brittany?
Yes.
Can't break, I have to break the tie, right? It's not a
Ms.
tie,
Rose is
so-
against. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I do want to let the records know that I'm against it, but I can't vote. I can only vote to break the tie. I'm against that move.
Any other business? Any discussion? I thank you for your time. This meeting is so adjourned.